Okay, so this video is just some practice questions for the nervous system. Take a second, pause this slide, and go through these words and see that you know lots of information about all these words. Okay, so pause the video, try this question. Okay, so when I come to a question like this, what I normally do is I start with the numbers over on the side, and I'll just write them down. So the first one says neurotransmitter binds with the receptor. And now see if you can figure out which words, which numbers 2, 3, 4, 5 would go in front of or after 1. Okay, so right off the bat, I see that 3 says presynaptic membrane. So that's going to come before 1. Okay, well, number 2 says sodium ions rush into the neuron cytoplasm. We don't really know if that's going to be the presynaptic, because if it's presynaptic, it'd go over here, right here. And if it's postsynaptic, it would go after the neurotransmitter binds. So you can't really tell. 4 says ion channel opens. So that would be after 1, right? So the neurotransmitter would bind, and then the channel would open. Oh, so 2's not marked off, just 1, 3, and 4 marked off. 5 says synaptic vesicles release neurotransmitter into the cleft. Well, 5 would need to become before 1. So 2 could really go there or there, I guess, depending on which one. But I guess it goes there, so that's D. But your dead giveaway on this question was that presynaptic. That was your help. Okay, so pause the video, watch these. Okay, so this first question says, what is the function of acetylcholinesterase? Okay, well, we know it's an enzyme because of the ACE, and it says acetylcholine. Well, what this enzyme does is it breaks down acetylcholine, preventing neurotransmission. Looking at 6, should have been able to identify that A and B were not the correct answers. C, I think, is a pretty good choice. It says it blocks acetylcholine. It doesn't block it, it breaks it down, but it does prevent reception on the postsynaptic neuron. So when acetylcholinesterase breaks it down, then, well, acetylcholine can't bind because it's broken down. Okay, the next question says if a stimulus on the receptor portion of a sensory neuron is above threshold, a further increased intensity of the stimulus would most likely cause. So if you look at the graph, and there's your resting potential here, and then it goes threshold is negative 55, action potential is 30. So what the question is asking is if it's above threshold. So if threshold is this negative 55, if it's right there, what's going to happen? Well, you should be able to mark off a couple of them. It says frequency. A says frequency of the impulse production to increase, so frequency of the impulse. B says the strength. Well, I don't really know what strength means, so it's not strength. The impulse is going to move faster. Well, is it going to move from there to there? From there to there any faster? No. That's what you're supposed to get tricked on. It's not going to move any faster, and the neuron membrane to become more negatively polarized. Well, we're going up, so actually we're becoming more positive. And then when sodium, right here during depolarization, when sodium floods, and it's becoming more positive. So the correct answer is A. Okay, and this is really the exact same question, just with a picture. And this is showing you that let's go back, my bad. That the frequency, like when the impulse is really strong, there's just more of a frequency. So this would be like pain, and this would just be like slight touch. So the frequency is stronger here. Okay, so based on the information depicted above, which of the following best explains the relationship between the action potential? The first thing I noticed right here is time is the same. So you should be able to mark the ones off with time. A says a strong stimulus will increase the time. So B says a weak stimulus creates a stronger action potential. So the weak one wouldn't be stronger. No. A strong stimulus increases the frequency. That's what it is right there. It increases the frequency. And then a weak stimulus increases the duration and frequency. So the correct answer is C. Okay, try this one. Okay, 16 says a neuron that is not conducting an action potential would be here and here. So 1 and 5. Because remember, this is, so you do want to know, this is depolarization, repolarization, hyperpolarization, and then resting potential. And remember, negative 55 is threshold. Which of the following best describes that O line? I just said it, that's threshold, so I believe the answer is B. Okay, and then this question, really, pause the video and try this one, but this one's going to be mostly elimination. Okay, so the first one I noticed that's marked off as D. It says the firing rate increases. So the firing rate increases down as the contractile force decreases. So if you look at this, the contractile force is increasing. So that's wrong. Okay, look at A. As the amount of muscle was stretched increases, so I guess that's going to be the force increases, the rate at which the action potential are generated increases. So if you look at that, that'd be incorrect. B says a lower membrane potential generates a stronger force. C says the highest rate of action potential generation occurs when the muscle is stretched the least. So stretch the least, that would be definitely wrong. So we got C and D are off. Okay, so A or B. A lower membrane potential generates a stronger contractile force. A lower membrane potential is a stronger force. Or A, as the amount of smooth muscle was stretched increases, the rate at which the action potential increases. So the correct answer should be A. However, B was a good choice because I actually thought A was wrong when I first read it. So A is the correct answer. Okay, pause the video, check this one out. This one's simply looking at the picture and the graph. So the graph's kind of hard to read though. It says the damaged stroke patient who has the inability to move the right arm and slurred speech. So all you have to do is go open the chart and look and see which of those had movement and speech, and that's going to be frontal lobe. So you just had to find the numbers in the chart. Okay, check this one out for me. Okay, before you could answer this question, you really had to know that the human is the most evolved organism. So as far as evolution goes, you're going this way. So the fish would have evolved first. It says, so starting with A, as the brain evolved, proportional sizes of the medulla and cerebrum. So if you look at the medulla, that's this part that sticks out here and here. And it actually looks kind of bigger in the fish than it does the human. And it definitely looks bigger in the frog. So A's wrong. As the brain evolved, proportional sizes of the medulla increase. So again, that one's wrong. Okay, and then we're down to C or D. As the brain evolved, the proportional size of convulsions. That's those ridges right here, and that's the actual answer. If you see, there's no ridges here, and then as it evolves, you can see the ridges right there, and then you can really see the ridges there. So C's the right answer, but let's mark D off too. As the brain evolved, the proportional sizes of the cerebellum increase. So if you look, the cerebellum is the red. So the only reason D is wrong is because of those two. Okay, and I think this is your last question. Okay, to answer this question, you had to remember what inhibitory, which was a stop, and excitatory meant. Well, if you look, you had to look at these letters down here. So you have A, and B, and then here's C, and it's that C is the inhibitory. So C is the correct answer because C is oh, I think it's D, my bad. Yeah, oh, I'm sorry. C is an inhibitory synapse, so it's C. Lowering, because after C it stopped. And then you can go through and mark the rest of them out. Synapse A caused the generation of membrane. Well, it didn't right there. It didn't reach threshold. The summation of A plus B, well, if you look at the picture, A plus B didn't happen until here, and it had already gone up. And then D says synapse A is excitatory while B is inhibitory. Okay, well, if you look here, after B it goes. So A plus B does excite it, but just A excites it too. All right, I hope that helps.